Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Meta channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. In this video, we will be going through the cards that was being revealed on the Tuesday stream, which is the new Rideline for Yu Kondo, the main character of the anime. And they did give like a new Rideline for the main character. I mean, he is the main character. It's not really surprising that he's the first to get a new one. Does this mean that Bruce and the other starter decks bosses are gonna get new Rideline? Maybe, but that's remained to be seen for D-BT06. In any case, let's get started to what does the new Cross Overdress brings to the table. First off, we have the Rideline, the Great One Rideline, heart-pounding Blaze Maiden Rino. She does look even cuter now. Although when this unit is brought upon by Snuggling Blaze Maiden Reiyu, search your deck for up to one Trickstar, call it to Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. Cost Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you have a Prayer Dragon on the same column, this unit gets 5k power. It's still quite similar to their original version of Rino, where you basically call out Trickstar as soon as you ride Reiyu on top of her. It's not as much of a difference if you ask me, although the second skill has 5k increase rather than the 2k, which I guess it's okay. But then again, this is going to be like a rearguard skill, so I don't think you will want to run more than one copy of Rino in your deck, because you know we all have like a lot of overdress stuff or cross overdress stuff to be run, so base will be a little bit tight. I don't think you will be running this card, but as for now, since cross overdress cards are limited, I guess it's not a bad idea to run more copies of Rino. Most probably by the next BT, I guess Rino will just be a Rideline card instead of like a main deck card, but that still remains to be seen. Next, we have the Great 2, Snuggling Blaze Maiden Reiyu. She is sexy. I'm definitely not thirsty. Maybe I should take a drink. Hold up. Although when this unit is brought upon by Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva, look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to one Prayer Dragon, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Second skill, continuous Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you have a Prayer Dragon on the same column, this unit gets 5k power. So yeah, basically it's quite similar to the original Rideline, but instead of searching for Vairina, you actually search for Prayer Dragon at the top 7. So up until this point, we have like 2 Prayer Dragon that was being revealed. I know there's one more in the daily reviews, but then I'll save that for a separate video, so do stay tuned for that. You're probably gonna search for either these two, so what you might want to think is either you want to go for defensive or more of an offense. The Great 1 Prayer Dragon basically lets you get more hand resources. The Great 2 is more of a power-up, so you do have to make like a decision whether or not you want to be more offensive or basically just gather more key pieces and then just go for a much later offensive turn combo, if that makes sense. The power boost is basically insignificant because similar to Rino, I don't think you'll want to run more than one copy in the deck. But as for now, I guess it's okay to run more because, as mentioned before, cross overdress support is still very much limited. Things will be different once D-BT07 comes around. So yeah, that's basically Reiyu. I mean, there's not much difference. It's just different targets to be search and call, as well as, you know, set up your whole combo turn. Next, of course, is the main boss, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva. Active Vanguard once per turn. Cost, discard a card from your hand, choose up to one Trickstar and up to one Prayer Dragon unit from your drop and call them to Rearguard Circle. Second skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your Rearguards with Cross Overdress State and Standard. So yeah, it's actually very different from the original Nirvana. You basically discard one card to get back 2 Rearguard, 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon. So those Prayer Dragon, as mentioned before, is basically up to you if you want to go for a more offensive one or you basically want to go for a more defensive. Means you basically draw from the deck, which is super nice. The discard could potentially be benefit if you manage to discard a card, for example like this one, because this guy here basically goes to soul once he's being discarded. I mean, there are quite a few cards in Dragon Empire that actually has this kind of skill, so it's actually a really good benefit for you to run this card, just, you know, just to get back some of the resources. And although at this moment we don't really see like a lot of soul blast, but hey, more resources is better than less resources. So once again, the 2 Prayer Dragon will be quite important for you to basically cross overdress, because cross overdress at this point is basically XYZ summon from Yu-Gi-Oh. Basically you take 2 rearguards and merge them into 1 and basically cross overdress. So it's a little bit different than overdress in a sense, because overdress you need to stack them on top of let's say Trickstar, whereas cross overdress you can place the cross overdress card on a different circle and then just move the two materials on the other rigor circles under them, which makes that whole thing and crossover. It's a little bit confusing, but then again, it's actually quite a simple change. So in your combo turn, preferably your personal right turn, Galondight is probably going to be your main target to be called for this card, because he gives anything the 5k power, and if you do cross overdress Garou on top of him, he's basically giving Garou an extra 10k power. So it's probably going to be one of your best target to be targeted. And I think the second skill here is like a godsend to Nirvana deck, because for the longest time Nirvana is attacking for 3 attacks, unless of course you go up to the grade 4 and you're playing Vairina as Baraldia, then yeah, you're basically attacking for 4. But this one lets you attack for the 4th turn for 1 counter blast. I guess it's really not bad. And alongside the 2 new cross overdress Vairina, yeah, those two are very disgusting, and we will see why once we get into them. So you're basically sacrificing the 10k power to the front row for a extra attack for either Garou or Bram, which in a sense you are sacrificing the power on Nirvana itself rather than your cross overdress, because cross overdress are gaining power like no tomorrow. So yeah, this deck is going to be really disgusting in a sense. I do hope that the new Bruce will have a similar treatment to this. I really do hope. So let's get into the 2 prayer dragons that was revealed alongside all these cards. First off is Flash equipped dragon Bramahda. Although when this card becomes an original dress, cost counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card from your hand and discard it. So basically your hand filter. So whenever you cross overdress with this card as a material, you basically play 1 counterblast to draw 2 and discard 1, which is, I guess it's very, very nice. And since this is discarding, if you manage to discard this card, as mentioned before, he will goes to soul, meaning that you are paying 1 counterblast to draw 2 and you gain 1 soul, which is super, super nice. It also, since it is a draw 2, it will therefore increase your consistency in getting your pieces. In particularly, you want to fetch out your 2 cross overdress, be it Garou or be it Bram. So yeah, you basically need those 2 in your hand in order to basically have a really, really good combo turn. And that is not all. We actually do have quite a few, but at this moment I don't see them as like really, really good, because some of them do need to be discarded during the battle phase, in particularly Overlord stuff. But yeah, this card is probably going to be a 4-off in a Vairina deck, since you are able to superior call from the drop zone. So I guess you don't really necessarily have to play at maximum copy, but still having maximum copy at the ready for you to cross overdress is also super nice. The next one of course is Sword equipped dragon Galondight. Although when this card becomes an original dress, choose one of this card's outer dress unit, meaning the unit that cross overdress on top of him, and it gets 5k power until the end of turn. If the outer dress unit is dual sword equipped Garou Vairina, it also gets 5k power. So yeah, this is probably going to be Garou Vairina's personal overdress material, which is this card. Whenever you want to cross overdress Garou Vairina, this card should definitely be one of your materials for you to cross overdress, because this will make Garou Vairina a 30k attack without the personal right, which is super huge. And once we get into Garou Vairina, we will understand why it's such a disgusting card. But even if you don't have Galondight as a material for Garou Vairina, it's still fine, but we will save that discussion until we go to Garou Vairina. So this card basically gives 10k to Garou Vairina and 5k power to everything else. So it's not really like a very bad material to basically cross overdress to other stuff, because he still gives a 5k power, which is not too bad. But then again, when we think about the cross overdress, it's actually not very playable with the original overdress support, because in order for Galondight to become a original dress material, at this point only cross overdress is able to do that. You can't really do it with overdress, because you know overdress only stacks on top of one specific unit, which is a shame if you ask me. Something to keep in mind here is that cross overdress is not overdress and vice versa. For skills that specifically says that they need to be at cross overdress or overdress, do keep in mind that they are not the same. So yeah, do be very careful at deck building as well as your combo play as well. Next is the main boss unit for the deck. Well, the main boss unit is Nirvana Jheva, but this is your main attacker. Dual sword equipped Garou Vairina. So basically has the cross overdress for one of your Trickstar as well as one of your Prayer Dragon. The main skill is continuous rigor circle. If this unit is in cross overdress state, this unit gets 10k power, and during the battle this unit attack, when your opponent would call card from their hand to guardian circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. Active on opponent's turn 2. So yeah, as mentioned before, this card could reach up to 30k alongside Galondight as cross overdress material, 10k from himself and 10k from Galondight. And since this card has a guard restrict and Nirvana Jheva is able to restand one of your cross overdress, both attacks of Garou Vairina is gonna have this guard restrict, which tends to force out one more card if your opponent is using a PG. Whether or not your opponent wants to guard this, 2 hand is like very detrimental for your opponent's hand that does not really have a lot of shield. And as the game progresses into the late game, this is progressively going to be more dangerous because Garou Vairina basically just forced 2 hand at the minimum from your opponent to guard him. So yeah, he's going to be very disgusting. And if your opponent wants to attack him, this card is quite similar to Vairina Elgar, which means that this will be at 20k even during the opponent's turn. So it's not really that easy to get rid of Garou Vairina because he's at 20k base. This is probably going to be one of the most dangerous attacker for Vairina, and I'm surprising they're giving Nirvana's best attacker in D-BT06. And not only that, we actually get another crossover dress unit in the form of brilliant equipped Bram Vairina. Once again, he has this exact same crossover dress mechanic, 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon. Continuous rigor circle. During your turn, if this unit is in crossover dress state, this unit gets 10k power, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets 10k power. Third skill, auto rigor circle. Once per turn, when this unit attacks, hit a Vanguard. If this unit is in the cross overdress state, cost Soul Blast 1, choose a column and retire all of your opponent's rigor in that column. This is basically like Vairina Valiente back in the day, where you need to attack, hit, and restand. But in this case, not only do you confirm the restand, you can nuke the board as well. If you manage to hit, that is. This unit will be a 38k without any personal right. 10k from himself, 10k from himself. I mean 20k from himself, and the 5k is basically from Galondight because Galondight still give 5k, which is a quite disgusting number. 38k for free. This card will be the strongest if your opponent has like a full field of free cards. I mean, even if they don't have like a full field, it's not mandatory for you to pay the Soul Blast 1 to retire something, but it just depends on what is on the opponent's field. Retire stuff is definitely king in the overdress meta. Bram Vairina alongside Garou Vairina as the attacker for your combo turn is going to suck so bad. One attack hits and retire something, and the other one is basically a guard restrict. And not only that, they're able to attack 4 times altogether, that is. Once these cards are out and people start play testing with them, it's going to be so disgusting. And that is all for Nirvana Jheva. It's basically a refreshing take at the old stuff and definitely a huge power up for them. This is probably going to be meta once again. With that being said, do like and subscribe if you like this video, and do ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.